another video. So the other day on my Instagram, I asked you guys to ask me questions for a Q&A video, which I'm gonna get to after this video, or I'll film it tomorrow or something. But every time that I ask you guys to ask me questions, like 90% of them are always weight loss related. So I figured that I would just make a video about my top 10 weight loss tips, because I am pretty much like at the very end of my weight loss journey. Like at this point I've lost like 70 pounds and my journey is coming to an end. So I just wanted to share some of the most important things that I think were helpful for me on my journey. So the number one thing that you're probably gonna know that I'm gonna say is to eat whole plant foods. So that means whole foods. A lot of people think like, oh, well, is flour a whole food? Is sugar a whole food? Is, you know, like all these other things whole foods? No, they're not whole foods. Whole foods are like potatoes, rice, lentils, vegetables, fruits in their whole form. So focus your diet as much as you possibly can around whole foods. And don't forget to include whole plant fats, because I think along my journey, that was one of the big mistakes that I made, was not including fats in my diet, because I was so afraid of like the fat that you eat is the fat that you wear. And it's a different story with whole plant fats. And if you're a woman and you're restricting your fat intake a lot, you can develop a lot of issues like hair loss, period issues, hormonal imbalances, which can lead to thyroid imbalances, which can make it really impossible to lose weight. And you can also just not be as satisfied with the food that you're eating because you're eating so low fat. So I would say along my entire journey, I probably ate about 15% fat. And I feel like that's a good healthy amount of fat, where you're getting all the vitamins and minerals and amino acids and fatty acids and nutrients that you need. But it's also enough to lose weight and enough to keep everything in balance. So don't forget about whole plant fats like avocado, tahini, hemp seeds. So going along with eating whole foods, the number 2 tip that I'm gonna give you is to eat intuitively. So what that means is to eat when you are hungry, stop eating when you are satisfied or when you are full. Don't starve yourself, don't restrict your calories, don't stuff yourself, don't try and eat as much as you possibly can because you think that it's gonna get you somewhere. If you're hungry for a smoothie, have a smoothie, and, you know, put in that smoothie as many bananas as you would normally be able to eat without them being in a smoothie. So if you sat down and you ate 4 bananas for a meal, put 4 bananas in a smoothie. Don't put like 15 bananas in a smoothie and think that this like magical smoothie is gonna make you lose weight, because calories in and calories out still does matter. Plant foods aren't like some magical food that doesn't count. Like, it does count, but you need to eat until you're full, until you're satisfied. Because if you're restricting your calories and you're trying to starve yourself to lose weight, that's not gonna work either, because that's just gonna lead to you binging on fatty junk foods and things that you don't need. So definitely just eat when you are hungry, eat a normal amount of food that you would normally eat, and stop eating when you're full. And know that like if you're coming from a restrictive diet or calorie restriction or anything like that, it's gonna take some time for you to get back in tune with your hunger signals, but it will happen. Just keep at it and keep trying to really check in with yourself while you're eating. So my next tip is to focus on getting daily movement. So 90% of your weight loss is gonna come from your diet and what you're putting into your body. A lot of the plant-based doctors recommend weight loss for overall health, but it's not gonna help you in some crazy measurable degree where you're just going to shed a bunch of weight because you started exercising every single day. Even exercising for like an hour really hard core workout isn't gonna burn enough calories really to make a huge impact on your weight loss. If you're obviously trying to like cycle up a mountain every single day or run a marathon or something like that, then yes, that can make a dramatic difference, but it's not something that is sustainable. So what you want to focus on is just getting daily movement that you enjoy, that you like to go outside and like go for a walk or go for a run or walk your dogs, or even if you do like body weight exercises or HIIT or something that you really love, and just focus on getting that movement every single day and enjoying it. Because the biggest thing about exercise is actually improving your confidence, your self-esteem, and it just makes us feel better. It releases endorphins. It can help a lot with just getting your health on track and getting your eating on track, because when we exercise, we just feel better about ourselves. We feel like we're taking care of ourselves. We're taking, you know, we're creating time in our day for us to just do something that feels good, and that is what matters the most. The next big thing that I think is really important is to cut down significantly, depending on where you're starting at, on sugar and on salt. So a lot of our food has so much added sodium in it and so much added sugar in it, especially when we're buying like processed packaged foods. And all that really does is overstimulates our appetites to eat unnatural amounts of food. So if like you're really obsessed with like eating potato chips and eating candy and things like that, that may be vegan but not especially healthy, you can really start to readjust your taste buds when you start cutting down on these things. So stop adding like tons. And I'm not saying that you can't add salt or sugar to your food, it's just adding it in a different way. So instead of like cooking food with a bunch of salt in it and putting like tons of bouillon in it or whatever, just cook your food without salt completely and then just add a tiny bit onto the very top of the surface, because that's where you taste it the most, and you're not gonna be adding like tons of excess sodium into your food to overstimulate your appetite. So now pretty much everything that we cook in our house is salt-free, except for like if I make something special for Derek or we eat some like processed vegan food, but we just add a tiny bit of salt to the surface of our food, or like I don't add salt at all. And it really readjusts your taste buds to crave more healthy, whole, natural foods without lots of added flavorings and things like that, which can help regulate your appetite, help you intuitively eat better, and help you shed excess weight, especially excess bloating or water weight. And another thing that I noticed when I cut down on salt drastically was it really improved my digestion. So just keep that in mind. But kind of going along with that, know that like you can always have vegan junk food, and you can always go out to eat with your friends, and 1 meal or 2 meals a week isn't going to screw up your progress or anything like that. So don't get so into like, oh, I have to only eat whole foods and I can't have pasta and I can't go out with my friends and I can't have any salt and I can't have any of this or any of that. Reserve like 1 or 2 or even 3 meals per week where you're like, I'm gonna go out with my friends, I'm gonna have a good time, and I'm just gonna get like some sushi rolls, or I'm gonna get whatever, and just try to make the best decisions that you can. But if like you want to eat some vegan chips, or you want to eat like a Boca burger or something, like totally let yourself have something like that, because those meals aren't going to screw up everything and completely get you off track. What's gonna screw up everything and get you completely off track is if you're isolating yourself from your friends, if you're not having like a normal routine, if you're not going out with people just because you think that you have to eat perfectly. Because then what happens is you say like, no, I don't want to go out tonight, I'm trying to like eat really clean. You feel deprived and you feel socially isolated, and you end up just going out and buying a bunch of vegan junk food and just binging on it, and then you end up starting over again the next day. So find a routine where you can eat 90% healthy, where you get daily movement, where you can still have a normal social life and go with your friends and have fun, and find a routine that works for you and that works for your life. Because this all or nothing attitude doesn't work, and it's not sustainable, and it's not gonna get you to your weight loss goals any quicker than trying to be perfect. So my next few tips are gonna be kind of obvious, but you wanna create a sleep routine. So a lot of people have struggles with just their overall energy and health, their hormones, things like that, because they do not get proper sleep every day. And sleeping is so important for our body's rejuvenation process, for our energy, for all kinds of things. And when we think about the body, we have to think about the body like in its whole form. We need all of these things to be working in sync most of the time to get to our optimal health and to get to our optimal body weight. So creating a sleep routine is very important, and you kind of want to create like a sleep sanctuary. So make your bedroom as comfortable as you possibly can. Get like very good sheets, a very good like mattress topper, amazing pillows. I'll link some below that like I found when I was in Vegas, and they were actually synthetic like down pillows, so they're not animal based, and they're the most comfortable pillows in the world, but I'm gonna link them below because I'm obsessed with them. But just make your bed in a way where you want, like, it's just very relaxing, it's very cozy, and there's not a lot of distractions. So try to get into bed every night at the same time, whatever time works for you, and go to bed like 30 minutes early and just lay there and relax and think about all the good things that happened that day, and just think about positive things and try and fall asleep that way instead of falling asleep like scrolling through Instagram or scrolling through your phone or scrolling through your computer or whatever it is. First of all, thinking about all the positive things that happened to you that day is going to like impress your subconscious mind in a way where you start to manifest these things in your life, which is like a whole nother video and other videos that I've talked about on my channel. But thinking about positive things, and I know a lot of us, especially myself, like my mind tends to wander a lot when I try to calm it and when I try to go to bed, and I start just like thinking about everything that happened that day and things that went wrong and things that I'm worrying about and things in the future and all these things. But as I've tried to calm my mind and just think about positive things and the things that I want to achieve in my life and kind of visualize like how I want my life to look, how I want my body to look, how I want everything to be in my life, it really has helped me a lot. And it does sound kind of like hippie-ish, whatever, but try it. So the last two tips that I have aren't so, you know, holistic. Well, they are kind of holistic, but it's more about just keeping an eye on your body. So you want to keep an eye on your digestion, especially when you're first coming to this lifestyle. If you have been eating like a standard American diet or a paleo diet or a low fiber diet for a very long time, when you come to eating a very high carb, low fat, whole foods, plant-based, vegan diet. So what happens when we eat like a low fiber diet for a long time and then we come to a very high fiber diet is our body isn't used to digesting so much fiber, and we can get really bloated, we can get really backed up. We don't have the proper amount of probiotics and gut flora in us to digest the new foods that are coming in, and our stomach acid just really isn't up to par yet. So one thing I highly suggest to most people is to take a probiotic. This is the one, I still take this to this day just because I feel like you can, you know, get all the help that you need, but it doesn't affect me anyway negatively, and I really do feel like it helps. But if you're having problems with digestion and bloating and just feeling really not very good, I do suggest supplementation. And a lot of vegans don't actually do that because they think like the body can heal itself, which it can over time, but I think that it's important to recognize problems before they become bigger and to help the body in any way that we naturally can. So this is something that I highly recommend for people who have problems with, even people who have problems with acne. This has helped Derek a lot with his acne, just being able to digest food properly. And because what happens then when your digestion is on par, your insulin and your hormones and all of that stuff starts to work properly, and you're not getting like these crazy sugar spikes or sugar crashes and things like that. So it can really help with skin issues as well, but don't be afraid to try supplementation if you feel like you need it. And the last thing that I wanted to talk about is something that I actually kind of struggled with when I first went on a high carb, low fat vegan diet. And it was the fact that I had very, very low thyroid function. And I think that that was just due to, you know, doing restrictive diets in the past, taking Adderall, drinking a ton of alcohol, smoking cigarettes, drinking tons of coffee, just doing all kinds of bad stuff to my adrenals and to my hormone system and all that kind of stuff. So I never actually got diagnosed by a doctor or anything for hypothyroid or anything like that. But my symptoms were basically just my hands and my feet were always freezing. I had very low energy. I was depressed. My hair was like falling out in clumps. I felt like just generally overall fatigued. My periods were very irregular and heavy and terrible cramps, even worse than I have now. And I just had all the symptoms of it, and I would never actually take like a thyroid medication, even if I was prescribed it, because generally it's from like pigs, it's not vegan. So something that literally like saved me and helped my weight loss tremendously was realizing that my thyroid wasn't functioning up to par, and it can have a huge impact on your overall health, because our thyroid is basically like the gas to our metabolism. So if it's not functioning properly, we can, you know, gain weight really easily. We can have lots of the issues that I just said and all of that kind of stuff. So what I started supplementing it with when I first went on the starch solution back in July of 2014 was I used this vitamin by Now Foods. And basically, there's a few books that are done on thyroid supplementation and thyroid energy and what the thyroid needs to properly function. And this supplement is like one of the only ones that actually has everything that your thyroid needs to be healthy and to function properly day in and day out. And if you go and you read the reviews on this, which I'll post the link below, a lot of people have been able to actually get off of their thyroid medication or significantly reduce it by supplementing with this. So I would highly suggest going to your doctor if you feel like you might have thyroid issues and getting tested. But a lot of people do get tested and they fall within the normal range, but they still have all the symptoms and they still feel sluggish and they still feel depressed and their hair is still falling out, they're still gaining weight, they still just cannot get their health on track, because this is such a huge part of our body, is our thyroid health. So I would highly suggest supplementing with something like this that is going to give your body everything that it needs so that your thyroid can function properly. And I know a lot of people don't talk about using supplementation, like I said when I was talking about the probiotics, but I do think that it is, you know, very important to be in tune with your body and to just be like, hey, I feel like something is wrong and I want to fix it in the most natural way that I can. This supplement, like both of these are all vegan. They aren't like anything that's gonna have crazy side effects. I feel like problems are much better solved when you can stop them in their tracks before they get much worse. So I hope this video is helpful for you guys, and I'm not trying to like give any medical advice or anything like that. It's just things that I've encountered along the way on my weight loss journey, and supplements that I took because of, you know, my damaged past, to aid my body in the best health that it could have so that it could naturally release weight in a normal way and get me to where I wanted to go. So I hope you guys learned something. Let me know about your comments below. Derek and I are probably going to film a tiny house Q&A tonight at the tiny house, and then I will get to your other Q&A questions either tomorrow or the next day. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you very, very soon.